Hi, it's Nancy welcoming you to Gardens Grow. I'm covering a few things in the garden, and this has a little glass bubble that she's blowing, so I wanted to cover it. And while I was doing that, look how this little blue balloon flower put on such a beautiful fall color. It looks like it's ready to step out for the night. And I still have petunias. This little petunia just never did quit for me. It kept right on going, and it's looking great today, but it has one more, maybe 1.5 more days to look this great, and it will be gone. This is the snowball bush, already putting on some pretty fall color also. Look what I noticed today. The berries are getting red. This is my first time to have the holly, and I'm a little bit excited. These are the kind of bugs that I'm trying to get rid of out of the garden, the kind that just eat your bloom, especially the mums in the fall, and then the peonies and the roses in the spring. Also, they love the petunias. So I need to get rid of these if at all possible. Do you ever have a race with dark when you're in your garden? That's what I'm doing now, but at least I didn't miss this. But I've still got to spray for those insects, those particular cucumber beetles. So I've got to try to beat dark again. Today is November the 8th, and that old killing freeze is coming. It'll be here today. The wind is pretty nice right now, though, even though it's a little strong. So we may have a little bit of time, so I thought I'd get one last bit of color. I love how everything turns golden in the fall, and I'm feeling the need to get some of this color one last time because it will be gone. And I do have things, I think I've got everything that I wanted to get covered up. So did you see that little butterfly? Still gonna try to get one last bit out of this pretty weather of fall too. So as beautiful as it all is, and as hard as it is to let it go, I really am ready, especially now that I've got some of the things covered. At least the glass things are covered, and that really is about all the glass and ceramic things are covered. And some of my plants that will need just a little extra help because they are sitting in a pot, I've got those covered too. But of course, cover them only enough that there's still air holes or something in it to let the air circulation in, to let the moisture in, but still give them some type of protection. And I'm seeing that I did not wrap this little one, which I should have. It is perennial, but sometimes the perennials can be helped a little bit too by putting plastic around them, but not where they can't get all the nourishments and things they need. Like this little Chinese dunce cap, there's a hole in the bottom of this so that the moisture that comes through here will get into the pot and then drain out. And it's still covered to give it some protection. I've been saving these for several years now, and it's got the Chinese dunce cap little, I don't know if you can see them through there, but we'll give it a try. And they will turn white and look like they're dead, but they'll come back to life with just this little bit of protection through the winter. So before I let it all go, one more time around the garden. This little sedum was just beginning to change color. And my husband came out with me earlier, and we walked through and took the sprinkler part off the water hose. And he said, look at that sun shining on the red coleus. And that's exactly why I love the red coleus too. They pick up the sun and just become like rubies. And I also noticed that it was shining on this pretty turning yellow for fall sedum. This is just one of the Autumn Joy sedum. This is more of the Autumn Joy sedum, and this one that I was showing you before is the Thundercloud sedum. I also did not cover this little pot. I'm hoping that it will make it through the winter though and come back. I know all of this will die, but it could come back. The alyssum from seed and the pretty yellow chrysanthemum could come back from the root, and I'm hoping that is what it will do for me. Even the mums will be gone after this hard freeze. And this little sedum that had turned so many beautiful colors of orange and yellow and pink is actually kind of giving it up now, so that it will all give it up after today and tonight, I'm pretty sure. I love these two colors together. I hope that I can get this little zinnia to come back. And this is a perennial salvia, so it should definitely come back in the spring. And I'm actually going to go ahead right now and pull off a few of these, if I can get them off all the way down to the seed part. And I did. So I'm going to put those right in this area and hope they dry and then come up next spring. And I did get my little pink, you can see I've got holes in here so that it can, but you see that pretty pink sedum in there. So I've got it protected, and that's the way I want it for the winter time, and then for it to look beautiful again in the spring. And my pear tree looks pretty good too this year. And we did have pears, although I should say, and the raccoons did have pears because we didn't get any of them. I still need to get my seeds in. I may be able to do that today before the cold gets here, but I may not too. But at least we had fall color, beautiful fall color, before the cold took it away. You may remember that these are my little squirrels chasing each other up this pole. And so they're ceramic, and they've been refixed many times. So I've got them covered for the winter too, for winter protection. I did not cover a lot of my little resin things. They do work well in the garden. They don't just dilapidate, although they do lose their paint, their color. Eventually it just, each year it takes them out a little bit more, the color of them, but I still like them. In the garden, everything, you use your imagination in the garden anyway, so if you see them, you just imagine the colors. Just like watching the old black and white TVs. Crepe myrtles have beautiful foliage too in the fall. I don't know if I told you, but I use one of those backpack sprayers, And I thought, oh, this is wonderful. I don't have to fill it up all the time. And it sprayed so much easier. You pump it up with your left hand and spray it with your right, and just it was wonderful. But it was more than I could handle. My little body was, it just gave up on it, and it hurt. It hurt so bad, and it gave me muscle spasm. And it felt like a nerve had been pinched or something, and it put a floating pain up in my head, gave me headaches, and then down in between my shoulders and all across my shoulders, and it hurt so bad I finally ended up going to the doctor and getting a steroid shot, some steroid pills, and a muscle relaxer, which I could never tell that the steroid stuff did anything for me, but the muscle relaxer did help me sleep at night. And I think I've finally gotten over that, but those little green cucumber beetles that I've been telling you that I need to spray for, I finally did do that. It was getting dark, and it got dark before I finished. But I did finish, although today I was looking around and one of them flew and landed on my glasses, like telling me that I didn't hurt them a bit. So I hope I still did, though, and the freeze will take them out, but hopefully I will have kept them from coming back in the spring so forcefully. I wish they would never come back. I hate those things because they do destroy the bloom, and aren't we all after that beautiful bloom? To see it and enjoy something that God made for us. But I so totally went from one job to the other, even while I was hurting, and that which made that act up again, that's actually when I went to the doctor, when it started back again. I'm like, oh, I can't do this. But anyway, it is better, way better. I can still feel a tenderness there, but it's so much better. But we just kept going. I mean, I totally was out here in the dark doing it, and got up the next day, and my husband and I went ahead and trimmed. He did this with the weed eater, and then I raked all the little pieces of it that were all over the place that I could get into the middle aisle, and then picked them up and put them in bags to take to the ravine where we dump them. So I'll be glad to let it all go, because I have not even begun to, I haven't got my recipes out or got my grocery list made for my sister's Thanksgiving reunion, and I definitely want to do that. But I have cut back. I've cut way back from what I used to do to take there, but I think it's working out fine. We have so many people now that bring food. There's always bunches left over, but that's what you want. You don't want the fear. I know my sister didn't ever want the fear of not having enough food. So I'm going to definitely bring something, as much as I can. And hopefully, see, I did get these little ones done too, which is great. So they'll be covered somewhat for the winter, and that's hopefully when we come out in the spring, they'll just pick right back up and go again. So I was saying, and hopefully we will have plenty of food for everybody that comes to the reunion. My sister Kathy called me last night, and I was so tired and so keyed up that I thought about not calling her back, and then I couldn't do that, so I did call her back. And she asked me what I was doing, and I said, I'm calling to tell you I love you too. So, and actually I felt better after we talked. I did. My nerves began to settle a little bit. Thank you, Kathy. I love you. And I didn't cover this little pot, and it's so small, it probably would be a good idea to cover it, because I really don't want to lose these little sedum. I don't know if I'll get to that or not before that freeze comes. I think I also need to cover this little gazebo because it's getting old and this plastic will just totally dilapidate out of there, just crackle and break off. I'd like to keep it as long as I can, but I am getting tired of doing things in the garden, trying to get it ready for the winter's freeze. More of the pretty red salvia. I'm noticing the bees don't know when to quit either. But we'll know when that killing frost takes everything out and everything's brown or gray. No more bright, beautiful color till spring comes. And I have not as yet gotten these hollyhocks out of there, and they need to be out of there because I don't want that disease to keep spreading. But I keep hoping we'll get some rain, and the forecast keeps telling us no rain in sight. So, but maybe next week. I think they're guessing that around the 13th we can get some rain. And look at this lovely little purple salvia. I did cover it up good with mulch. I'm so hoping that I'll be showing you this again next year, and I'm so hoping that we'll have enough that we'll get some more of it started. And first of all, I want to get some started in my friend Susie's garden because she's the one that bought this for me. I had already given it up, but this one is trying so hard to live. And I definitely want to come out and get some of these beautiful Gomphrena globe flower, the flower itself, because it actually it's kind of like a dried flower, like a straw flower anyway, but they'll turn brown or gray and you'll not even be able to tell what color they were. So I want to get some of those and label them so that I'll know which color. Definitely want some of these for my sister Jetty to put in her front flower beds, and I just want to be sure I have some seeds in case something should happen to mine. But I'm not expecting that to happen because when these start putting down seed, it's been my experience that they just keep right on putting down seed that come up volunteer for the next year. So that's what I'm hoping for. So after tomorrow, if we want to see the garden, we'll have to look back through one of the YouTube posts that I've put on. And I think that's a great idea. Please do that. Look back through and continue to give me some likes and comments. And I may be not on here for the winter. I may put a few on maybe once a month until we're back in the garden again, because I'm going to be working on my book. The Lord will give me the chance to do that. I certainly want to. One more quick look in the front, and then we'll tell it all goodbye. I also need to take my little whirly thing inside where it'll be safe through the winter. And maybe, just maybe, some of these pretty roses we'll get another picture of them with a frost on them. We'll see if that happens. It could. Gathered in a few of the golden yellow profusion zinnias, but I haven't yet gotten to the like lemon yellow ones, so I'll want to do that too. There's several seed that I still want to get. So it looks like I've got some more work to do in the garden still. And of course, when spring comes, and even before then, I'll try to get some of this taken out. But I'm going to have to let it go until spring, and then I'll have to let the book go and get into cleaning all of this out. That's a tremendous job. big pretty whirligig decor is safely put away now for the winter. And I did cover a few more things. One of them being this little red sedum. So it has holes in it to get the moisture, and I've tied it around here to keep some of the cold out. So hopefully it'll just take right off and go in the spring. And I did the same for this little pot of sedum. And in just a minute I'm going to trim some or probably all of these little ones off to save for seed, and then go around and get a few more seed. Please be sure to like and to subscribe to the channel.